我真係信唔到我已經攞咗1000嘅訂閱嘅人，呢個就係我最尷尬嘅提數故事。Shave it up! Hey YouTube! So if you could understand that, I'm thoroughly impressed. The reason that I did that was actually because of the story that I'm going to be telling you tonight, along with my shave. So I have reached 1,000 subscribers, and as part of my agreement, when that tipped over the edge, I would share an embarrassing and funny story about myself, and that is this video. So congratulations, hope you're going to like this video. I will be shaving today with baby powder. Johnson's baby powder, at least for one go. I'll probably do an actual shave after that because I'm a little scared. Anyway, I'll explain why the baby powder here in just a second. Now, the story. Here's how it goes. So about just shy of 11 years ago, I was 19 years old and I was living in Hong Kong. Actually, in this particular time in Macau. Macau is a former Portuguese colony that's about an hour boat ride away from Hong Kong. It's a collection of 3 little islands. It's kind of the Las Vegas of Asia, really. And I mean that literally because over half of the population of that city is employed by the casinos that are there. Anyway, let's see how well this works. Anyway, at the time, living in Hong Kong, I've been put in Macau. I'm living there as a missionary for my church, right? Been there for about 6 months and loving Macau. I love Macau. It is second to Hong Kong. It's probably my favorite city in the world. Anyway, so while I was living there, I had just gotten back from a trip to Hong Kong. We'd just gotten back and that night, I started having intense stomach pain. Well, that passed all night, and I couldn't figure out why. We got on the phone with doctors the next morning, could not figure it out, and the doctors who were actually, he was in Cambodia at the time, he said, okay, you just need to get to a hospital. So I do, right? Got to a hospital. Yeah, this actually works pretty well. Oh, and I'm using a Marker 12C open comb. Closest thing to what I remember in this shaving story. So, went to a hospital, right? And I think the most I could tell the doctor when I got in to see him was, 我頭好痛啊. And so he pushed around on my stomach and finally down in the lower left corner of my abdomen, pushed there, and I thought I was going to die. Okay, so he's like, oh, I think I know what it is. And this is all in Chinese, by the way. So he points me over to a little closet. I see a toilet in there and a stack of cups. I was like, okay, I know what I need to do. Right, went in there, did my business. Came back out, handed it to the nurse, went back up to the waiting room because I figured, urinalysis takes, what, 5 minutes tops? Right? So I go out there and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Hour and a half goes by and I still haven't heard anything from these people. So I go back up to the desk. I'm like, have they run my test? Because I'm dying here, literally dying. And the receptionist says, well, did you pay for it? Of course, a hospital in China, you have to pay for everything up front. All right, whatever. So it costs like $5. I give the lady the money. She runs the test. 5 minutes later, boom, we have the results, right? They call us back to the doctor's office, or to the doctor's station, really. It was a mass office of all tons of sick people. And he starts telling me, okay, this is what I think it might be. I'm not understanding any of this because it's all medical jargon. I don't speak that kind of Cantonese at this point. I ask him, okay, what is it? And so he types it into the computer, right? It comes up with Chinese characters and then tiny little letters underneath it. It says acute appendicitis. Okay, great. Now we know what it is. Get me into the hospital, right? Or so I thought. So they go in. I go back out to the waiting room. Well, this actually isn't half bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. I go back out to the waiting room and wait, and wait, and wait. 3 hours later, an older couple that's been living there with us, finally, just to kind of keep an eye on us as missionaries, finally got over and was just like, this is enough. He went to the ATM, grabbed a bunch of cash, threw it on the desk, and said, get him in a hospital bed. They were waiting for the insurance information to fax over from Hong Kong, and it still hadn't gotten there. So, meanwhile, I'm out in the waiting room just dying, and I'm not getting in a hospital bed. All right, he throws down the money. 15 minutes later, I'm in bed. Great. By the way, the baby powder, yeah, it works, but it's not fun. It's a lot of tugging. And I've got about 3 days growth here. Anyway, so they get me in the hospital bed, right? In comes the surgeon. He actually speaks English. First person in this hospital that speaks English is the surgeon. And he says, okay, we're going to get you into the OR in about 30 minutes, and we'll get you underway. Great, fine. So I'm in there, sitting in the hospital bed, right, in my t-shirt and gym shorts. I'm sitting there with my roommates, right? I have 3 other roommates that are there with me. They're there to just make sure I'm okay. One of the rules as a missionary there is that you have a companion, right? You have somebody that's with you 24/7, just as a safeguard against any shenanigans happening, right? So my companion is there. His name's Kyle Johnson, and he can vouch for me on this story. So we're all just sitting in there talking, and the nurse comes in, and she's probably 20, 21, something like that. Chinese girl, doesn't speak much English. She comes in and she starts doing the IV, sticking the IV in my hand, right? Getting me ready for surgery. All right, whatever. Pretty normal stuff. Expected that. Right? Once she gets that done, she turns to the other guys and says, you all need to leave. Another rule is that I'm not allowed to be in a room alone with a woman for any amount of time, right? Unless it's some kind of emergency. And so the other guys are like, you gonna be okay, man? I hope so. And so they all leave and leave me alone in the room with this nurse. And at this point, she tells me, I need to shave you. I thought, oh yeah, of course. It's abdominal surgery. There's hair in the way. I'm a hairy guy, so fine, whatever. Another mission rule is that in general, you're not allowed to come in physical contact with just about anybody beyond a handshake. Okay? So I'm in there, and she says, okay, I need to shave you. I'm like, all right, fine. I lift up my shirt, and she shaves my stomach, my abdomen, right? And does a decent job with something that it kind of resembles this-ish. It was an open comb of some sort, looking back on it. I don't know what it was. But she sprinkled powder all over my stomach and started shaving it off, and it did a decent job. So that's why the baby powder. Now, after she finishes shaving my abdomen, she says, well, you so tidy. And I just like, how low we talking here? And so I moved like I said, I was wearing gym shorts. Moved my shorts like 2 inches farther down, where everything was still covered up, but I had technically gone lower. And she did that. Fine, whatever. After she says that, I heard the 2 scariest words that I've ever heard in Cantonese. Cai fu. But before I even get a chance to do it myself, she just rips them down. Right? And I am freaking out. There's a curtain closed around the bed. My guys are outside, and I have nobody to talk to except her. Meanwhile, the following conversation happens. Nurse. 你係基督徒啊，係咪？係。你住咗澳門幾耐啊？2-3個月。咁你係傳教士係咪？我係啊。咁你哋會做咩啊？傳福音教英文等等嘅事。好啊。咁你哋會唔會拍拖啊？唔會。不過，譬如話，如果你認識過一個好靚嘅澳門嘅女仔啦，你會點樣啊？唔理佢。This is the point where she pulled him down. 好啊。我有個另外一個問題咯。譬如話，我就係佛教徒喎，我哋可唔可以結婚啊？基本上可以啊，但係我哋有啲教堂叫做聖殿，我哋嘅結婚嘅聚會，and I started to try to explain how we get married in my church and explain that, no, it's really not an appropriate kind of thing. And after she got that answer, about 30 seconds later, she decided to leave. She wasn't interested anymore. Anyway, let's continue the shave. I'm giving up on the baby powder because that's not fun. I'm going to do Barrister Man Bay Rum. Let's do this. So, yeah, I was mortified with everything that was going on because, and I'll explain why, from just below my sternum to about midway down my thigh, everything on the front of my body, gone, right? She was thorough. And I'm freaking out because, well, I've just gotten manhandled by a Chinese nurse and I was a little shaken up about it. Understandably, because I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, what just happened to me? Turns out it's no problem. I mean, it's medical stuff. Happens, right? And as soon as she leaves, I'm sitting there in this bed, and I've got the gown on by now. She took care of that too. And the other guys that are there with me, they all came in and they're like, dude, what happened? And my response was more or less, she shaved me, man. And they're like, what? What? Are you kidding me? I'm like, nope. Lift up my shirt, showed them. I was like, I'd show you the other part, but yeah, gone. And they just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. And of course, by the next time I'd gone back to Hong Kong in 2-3 weeks, something like that, everybody knew. Everybody knew. I mean, people I hadn't told about it, everybody knew. And so all I'm getting asked about is like, dude, did that really happen? Yeah, it happened. Been there, done there, got the scar. It was, understandably, the most embarrassing shave of my life. So there you go. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I promise that is 100% true, and Kyle can vouch for me. There are about, well, really there are only two other people that were there that could vouch for me. But everybody else there heard the story. They can all probably testify as well. That, yep, I got shaved by a girl I didn't even know in a hospital in China before having my appendix taken out. So there's my story. Anyway, I'm going to finish this shave. It looks fantastic. Bay rum all around. It's a cold, wintry night, so I'm definitely going to love it. Barrister Man Bay Rum Soap. Soap Commander Purpose Aftershave. And Captain's Choice Bay Rum Aftershave as well. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize if any of that is off color. I tried to keep it pretty clean. I'm the clean shaver. But hope you enjoyed the story. And if you haven't already, please click the link below and subscribe to my channel. Love to see you and love to hear about any comments or reactions that you had to the story down below. Love to hear from you. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Be smooth. We'll see you next time. Shave